Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we will be working on my June monthly setup in my bullet journal, but before we get into that, as always, I'm going to flip through May and show you all how the month ended up turning out. So I ended up really enjoying the layout for May and it was actually quite useful for me. I really enjoyed this new setup that I did. I didn't end up using my study guide as much. I sort of filled it out but then never went back to it, and I did enjoy the weekly setups as well. So yeah, with that being said, let's now move on to June and begin with June's cover page. For June, I wanted to experiment with making a spread with objects and no people, because I'm very comfortable with drawing people, but I am not that comfortable with drawing objects and making a design out of objects. So that is what I wanted to do and experiment with that. I am pretty decently happy with how it ended up turning out. It's not my favorite, it isn't my best spread or setup or anything like that, but I did enjoy experimenting with this and seeing what I could come up with. So for the theme, I don't really know what theme this is, but what I decided to go with was a flat lay image for the cover page with a few crystals and like little sequences and some floral designs and like twigs and branches. Just stuff inspired by magic and sort of wildflowers. That was pretty much what I was going for, and it was a lot of fun experimenting with this. Like I mentioned, it's not my favorite, but that is okay. You're not going to create perfect spreads every single time in your bullet journal. But yes, for the coloring, I mostly used my Tombows and colored pencils and pens. I wanted to give my watercolors a bit of a break, and also recently I've been enjoying using Copic markers in my illustrations outside of, doing other things, so I wanted to give my Tombow some love and use them for my spread. But yes, also I wanted to quickly mention that if this video is going up a little bit later, which I am assuming it is, I'm doing this voiceover a little bit in advance, but I apologize if this video is going up a little bit later than I had planned for. I'm currently in exam season and my exams are, I think if this goes according to plan, next week. So, and by according to plan I mean if I get this video up in time, it will be the following week of, it will be next week I have exams. So because of that, me creating the spreads and doing all of that has been put on the back burner a little bit, but that aside. So I just wanted to quickly mention that. And yes, I don't really have much to say besides recently I haven't really been using my bullet journal as much. I've been really into using a digital planner, like through my calendar online, and I've been enjoying that recently, so I haven't really been using my bullet journal as much, but I still wanted to go ahead and set up a spread and set up for June anyways, because I do like using both the bullet journal and also my calendar online to figure out my to-dos and everything, so I wanted to go ahead and still upload this video. But yeah, anyways, that is June's cover page, and now let's move on to the next spread, which is pretty much the same as I did in May. I have my monthly overview in the top left side of the page. It is a little bit different in terms of the boxes, but that is because June has a different formation of days, so I just had to make do with that. And then I went in to do my hand lettering for June, but I accidentally messed up, so I had to make it work with that and made it into some sort of branch. I also have my expense tracker off to the side next to my overview, which I really enjoyed the layout of, so I'm going to continue that for this month. I also have my habit tracker, but because of the formation of the boxes, I moved it to the left page instead, and I ended up simplifying it quite a bit because I don't have as much space as I normally would to work with, so I just decided to simplify it to the habits that are the most important for me to track and keep in mind. So that's what I decided to do. And then for the other side, I went with a quote. I feel like I haven't done a quote in my spreads in such a long time, but what this one says is, choose every day to forgive yourself. You are human, flawed, and most of all, worthy of love. And that is by Alison Maley. I think that is how you pronounce her last name, but I wanted to include a quote mostly because I didn't really have anything else I wanted to track on a monthly basis, so I just went ahead and put in a little quote there. And so I then decided to add a few of the elements from the cover page just to tie it into the rest of the spread, and that is pretty much it for this page. I wanted to keep it very simple, kind of minimalistic, since I wasn't really, at the time when I was creating the layout, I wasn't really feeling too creative or productive and a little bit stressed out, so I just wanted something very simple and something that I could just play around with and experiment with, which that is what ended up happening. And so yeah, that is this page done, and then on to the last set of pages that I'm going to be making for this month, and that is my weekly page. Recently I have been wanting to have a little bit more room in my weekly spreads, mostly because I am going to be finishing school, and in June I will be on my break, so instead of having a one-page view with sort of like an overview of the week and then a master to-do list, I wanted to be able to create a to-do list for each day. So I decided to divide up my pages into 4 and dedicate 7 of those to the months of the week. And each one has a top 3 list, and I, as always, want to have a little mini overview of the calendar and also highlight the month we are on. I also added in a few of the elements from the cover page just to tie everything back in together. And also, if you are wondering what that weird brown blob is on the top of the page, I actually spilled some coffee when I was sketching out my setup spread, and I couldn't really get rid of it, so I just decided to leave it there. It's its new home, it's where it's going to live now, and in a little bit I did try to, but then I just couldn't be bothered, so I just left it. But yes, so this is June in my bullet journal, and here is the last flip through. I really enjoyed setting this up, and it was a lot of fun experimenting with this different style. As always, I will list everything that I've used in the description box, and that's pretty much it. So I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!